Welcome to 3D Learning. The topic is gold, and this is video 2. This is a flipped learning class. Students will watch the videos and do the assignments in the videos, sometimes a little bit, sometimes a lot, then come to class, review their answers, and go to the next section. A gold rush means that usually there's some really craziness and businesses cheat people. So who's responsible, and how can we balance this desire for gold with good business practice? That's our end goal debate idea. In discovery, we said we can know, what can we know from the title? Titles are very important. And it's about gleaning information from the smallest of inputs. Gleaning means to gather information, collect information. What do you know from the title? There is so much to know. And there's not very much information. But you can glean, you can pick it up if you're careful. The title is the smallest input but stands in the entrance to a larger path. At this point, a person decides to pursue the fuller story or move on. The title, if it's not attractive to you, you will put it away and you'll find a new title. A book that looks interesting, you read a little bit and then you decide you don't want to do it. So sometimes titles can be tricky. They look good, the cover's beautiful, but inside is not what you want. So that's where you need to make better choices, and we want to help you learn how to do that. Choosing to move on will be the impetus to the discussion. It'll be the energy that will motivate you to the discussion. Discovering how to search for relevant information will lead to better understanding and discussion. Relevant information is specific information that helps your argument or opposes specifically the other team. That's relevant. It has to be specific. It's not general information. It's specific to your argument for support or to oppose. The following statements are given to begin the generation of ideas. Many people, they say, oh, I don't know anything about this. So you need to have some ideas, some little help, and that's what we've done for you. Add more. So here's the title, History of the Gold Rush. Doesn't tell you a lot, but it's about gold. Yes, you don't have to think hard for that one. People become gold crazy. Well, maybe if you want to think about gold rushes, maybe you know about that? It's about American, Canadian, European history. Maybe. Could be South American as well. It was about people rushing to get gold. Well, gold rush, rushing to get gold, it's almost the same. So what are your ideas? What ideas can you find? Find 4 ideas, write them down quickly, and bring them to class. See what your other teammates have put in there. Check which ones are true for you and add a few more. Maybe you don't know anything about gold rushes. That's okay. You can check. Maybe you love gold. Well, that's maybe true too. People go crazy about gold. Maybe you go crazy about gold, or maybe you don't go crazy about gold. I know people that go crazy about gold. It was only in American history. Well, maybe that is nothing, it's not relevant to you. So maybe only 2 or 3. Make 4, okay? Write 4 ideas that are true for you about this topic. Gold rush. What are true for you? That's brainstorming. That's like getting outside the box. During the discovery, you'll get new information. Whet the appetite and explore ideas about motivation, goals of the story, pluses and minuses, general interest discussion. Whet the appetite means to sharpen the appetite. Get higher motivation to explore ideas. Now we want to kind of put some fire under the pot. Get it hot. Get that appetite. Those are 4 interesting ideas. And when you're reading, always read for one of them. When you're reading a story, read for one. You don't need to read for all, but choose one idea to read for. Okay? And then, in an article, you will do the same. These are really good things, and when you're reading, don't read for vocabulary, don't just read. Read and get this information, write it down in your notebook, and then it'll be easier to recall, and it'll be easier to tell someone about. So note-taking will create a strong foundation to expand later. Notes are important, and you need to write notes. So here are 4 ideas, and when you're reading, that's what you want to find. That's reading for information. It makes reading faster, it makes reading more interesting, and you will enjoy reading better. So here's the first question about new information. What would make me rush after something? It could be a t-shirt. It doesn't have to be gold. What would make me rush after something? Everybody has a different motivation. Everybody has a different goal. Everybody has, you fill in the blanks. Bring them to class and discuss it with your other classmates. On the lines, write your answer using as much information as you can. And you can write several sentences, and maybe you need more than's in the book. Write it in your notebook. Question number 2. Have you ever rushed for something? Now, maybe you haven't really broken an arm or anything like that, but maybe you have rushed for something. Maybe there are 20 tickets and everybody's lining up and you want to be number 19. Why or why not? If your answer is no, write several sentences why you don't rush for things. And yes, tell the truth about why you rush for it. Maybe it was one of those 4 that we discussed earlier. Now separate your ideas into groups. If you have 5 people and you have 4 ideas, that's 20. Put them into different categories, but you have to make categories. So make 4 different categories of ideas. You can use those that were in the earlier slide, make your own, but just one-word ideas, just one-word categories. One word. Having created ideas and discussion notes about the topic, read the story. We will do that in the next video. We will read the story together. And you want to group your ideas that you find in the story into the ideas that you had. When you categorize your information, and when you put your information straight down, then it's much easier to find later. Otherwise, you have to read the whole story again and find it again. Finding information is important when you prepare for debate. Finding information is important, but finding it again quickly is even more important. So in the book, follow the steps below. A list of words is given. Vocabulary is there from the story. Add more information to each to help your understanding. In the vocabulary that's going to be given in the next video, write your own ideas. If this is group work, you have a large group, you have 10 or 15 people in a class, give them different questions to do so that each can come and everybody can share their answer in class. In this section, reading followed by critical thinking will develop quicker outlines and build vocabulary. Later, we will build outlines. After you're reading, you want to start critical thinking. When you read, think critically. Don't just read. Read for, what do I want from this story? What kind of ideas? If you have that in your head, that's what you're reading, you will find reading is faster and better. Vocabulary will be given, and like we said, try to make definitions without a dictionary. The definitions in the next video, in the story, are without any dictionary. When you are looking for debate, when you're wanting to argue something, you don't always have to go to Papago. You don't have time, because if you take too much time in Papago, then the argument is no longer exciting or interesting. As we prepare for next video, the story, you have answered questions about what you know. Don't be concerned if your knowledge is shallow or minimal. Saying nothing, I don't know anything, that's a good start. But why don't you, maybe you haven't thought very hard about these. So that's why those other questions, and you should have already some answers. You've explored new ideas related to your understanding. So now we're expanding that. That umbrella is getting a little bit wider, a little bit opening a little bit. Getting that more information, better understanding. You create a list of categories. So now you have a list of categories. Every new information you put into into one category. Choose one category for each information. It'll make it easier for you. And it's a good skill to develop. Are you ready to have fun discovering? I hope so. Next video we have the reading of the story. It'll be very fun. Make sure you bring all your ideas that you have here to class. That's number one. And then the video.